Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, where we have nearly cleansed these jungles of Bretonnians. What's that? You say it's a desert, not a jungle? I don't know, says jungle right there. So we have a little bit more pressing to do. By the way, I realized, after recording the last episode, that I have not been remembering how Bretonnian's mechanics work. I've been making assumptions based on the fact that we see 12 units in the garrison here, but I forgot that the Bretonnian garrisons work a little bit differently than all the other factions. Bretonnian minor settlements automatically get walls when they get to tier 3 from their settlement building. They don't have to build a garrison structure. And they get a larger garrison from that as well. And in fact, they don't even have the option of building an improved garrison structure. They just get this, and that's all they get. So, the fact that we're seeing 12 units in the garrison over here at Xandri does not necessarily mean that it doesn't have recruitment structures. And in fact, the fact that it has the wall crenellations means that somehow they've gotten it to tier 3 already. It might be the case that high tier AI get a huge growth bonus, like because we're playing on very hard, I mean. Whatever, we're currently at peace with them, so I guess it's not a big deal even if they are recovering. We're going to finish our business down here, and then we will be able to turn our armies on them eventually in time. Even if they do have recruitment structures here, they still are going to have very, very little functional economy. We will be able to defeat them economically before we have to defeat them militarily. So, speaking of defeating people militarily, yeah, it looks like it's going to be quite a few turns to head over here if we go on land, but we can go via the water, and while we're doing so, we can interact with this mysterious island. So 13 units in the garrison, a very small army sitting there, and what have we found? Mist clings to the ground and stubbornly refuses to shift, even as your followers stride forth. They approach a place of ancient power. It is forbidding, but those who dare to tread here may be rewarded, or so the prophecy scrawled onto the map states. Do we want to pursue the power of rage or the power of prescience? I don't remember exactly what all of the buff effects that are available here are. I don't think we need help performing in battle, so let's take a campaign buff. Got ourselves a trunk of maps, okay. More chance to get magic items, longer line of sight, that's pretty whatever. And a speed banner for one of our units. I'll be honest with you, not like super excited about that. We didn't really get a lot of value there. Yeah, let's pop into our Lord's details and see about moving some stuff around. Because that 15% speed banner, honestly, is probably better for us than the +4 leadership banner we're getting here. And then we can maybe pass that other banner over to our other Lord. So you notice we took some attrition damage sailing over the reef. It's a little bit of a shame, but I have no doubt that we will be able to deal with the Sorcerer's Islands. Alright, Yarrick, Slayin Mage Priest. Can we equip stuff on you? Alright, well we have this extra shield. No sense in not having it equipped on anybody. I have a hard time imagining he's going to be engaging in melee combat. But I guess who else would we give this to? And then he can take this pennant. He could take a prize hunter, which will lower the upkeep of his Pterodon riders. That seems like a thing I should have equipped earlier. Man-spawn sacrifice, likely to be relevant. Alright, it's important to make sure that we go through our lords periodically and see them equipped with all of the good stuff we keep finding. I'll be honest with you, I don't have a strong plan with this guy beyond let's get to Alhaik and make sure it doesn't fall to the treacherous Knights of Origo. You have to imagine that the the proper main Bretonnian factions would be very cross with these guys for their dereliction of all of their vows. Alright, so we're seeing lots of hostile Norscan factions. We're not going to get any value from seeing them, except that the balance of power bars flitting by during the enemy turn sequence will give us a little bit better information about what exactly is happening in the north. And you can see here, I did remember to hire the Skink Chief eventually. He'll be headed over to the Golden Tower. We'll see what's happening over there. And I guess with that we're done, because we're not making enough money right now to be making very many infrastructure adjustments. I guess here in Bel Aliad, since we no longer feel like this is under direct threat, yeah, it might be a good idea for us to build a money-making building. We gotta keep pushing our economy here. And remember, we have both this lodestone and this geomantic pylon buffing the cash output of all of the buildings in this region. So focusing on like making sure we get an economic building up into each one of the settlements is probably a pretty good idea. All right, let's see. Hold on. Should we flip through our diplomacy menu real quick and see if anybody wants to trade now? Okay, she's still not into it.
You come to Bretonnia, stranger.
King Luen doesn't even want a non-aggression pact with us.
Bow before the rightful laws
Oh,
of this
he might.
land
What do you think?
anywhere.
Okay, Alberic de Bordelot is a little, my understanding is he's a little bit crazy, but listen, if he wants to trade with us, I'm not in a position to judge.
What?
Can we be friends?
And make your offer. So be it.
Okay, friends is strong, but we've at least promised not to slaughter each other upon first meeting. And that's something.
So,
Do not greet me as a friend, nor are we foes.
we cannot.
Okay, well, we're still trending positive with Astalia, so we might be able to get
Do
there
not greet me
eventually.
as a friend.
He's not interested. Okay. Good enough. We have some money coming in from trade. Just gonna have to keep slowly driving that number up. Alright, let's see if the faux Bretonnian forces down here on this continent have any kind of plan at all. In particular, not really sure what the Knights of Origo are doing. When they declared war on us, you know, I think it was natural to assume that they declared because they intended to actually use their armies to do something to us. It's super weird for them to declare war and then just sit there outside their castle, glowering at us from across the strait. Maybe they believe that if they just think angry thoughts at us hard enough, we'll all die? You know, the power of negative thinking. I'm not going to say that I think that's a good plan, but a lot of the things that the Bretonnians believe about the world seem kind of nonsensical to me. There's this whole lady in the lake thing, and I mean, I guess the lady is a literal... There is a literal flying lady that they follow around, but I think they've misapprehended her relationship to them a little bit. There's a whole lot of weird lore, a lot of weird stuff going on in the Warhammer Fantasy world, which I guess you would have to expect from a setting that's been iteratively added to for, what, 40 years? Until they blew it up. I've actually played a fair amount of Warhammer 40k, although at this point it was several editions ago. But I've never played Warhammer Fantasy. I'm not super familiar. Like, I think I mentioned this early in the series. Outside of what I've seen in Total War Warhammer and Vermintide, I don't really know anything about the setting. But it seems big and weird. It also seems like people are pretty mad about that thing where they blew it up. So all these orc factions, we're going to have to figure out what's going on to our east. Because we are going to have to fight our way through an awful lot of orcs at some point here. I don't think that avoiding conflict with them is going to be possible. Presumably, all of the other players can also see the balance and power bars. You would think that the Knights of Origo would be unwilling to declare war on us, given that that bar is way more our side than it is their side. Alright, can we actually get into fighting position this turn? I think we probably should be able to, right? Yeah, we can land on the beach right there. Alright, let us finish this. No, did we? Okay, we got up on land and spent all of our movement, but we didn't get on land close enough to attack the city somehow. Well then, I guess we will just hover here for a moment. That's very annoying. Alright, let's see which men of the Empire are still alive. Oh, it looks like Nordland's doing pretty well for themselves. I think we're pretty safe to just move to Alhaik. The worst version of this would be if they could catch us moving, like here, where we're in march mode, but we're not quite in garrison reinforcement distance, but they don't have anywhere near the movement. I guess they're just building up for their eventual attack, sitting there in mustering mode. Alright, unfortunately it is going to take this guy a little while to run to the place he's going. So we want to enter the mountains here. So I'll just click there and let him route that himself. Unfortunately, we did not have access to a hero that had any kind of campaign movement buffs or anything. He's just moving at base speed. And again, we have very little to do here. Next turn, big battle. Right now, I think we're just hitting end turn. Is that right? Do we want to... Is there any place where we can make a building? Yes, we can make a building here, and in fact, probably should. At some point, we will growth cap this this province. It's unfortunate that we temporarily lost Tiktaq'to because we were actually getting pretty close. When that happens, we'll remove the growth buildings, and we'll... I don't know exactly what we will replace them with. Probably just stuff that makes money. You know, we could install one of those tablets of war in Tiktaq'to. Aqua can take on purple technology buildings. Clan Scryer looks just about dead. A lot of the pirate forces don't seem to be doing well. Khemri doesn't have an army right now. Man, if these stupid Bretonnians had not gotten all up in our stuff, we could have done some fine work on our actual objectives by now. Oh, that said, I gotta remember to look at our actual objectives and figure out which regions of this desert we actually do have to own. Part of the problem that I'm having here, and I'm sure everybody has noticed it and shouted in the comments quite a lot by now, is that I forget things quickly, and I have ideas like, hey, we should hire that hero, or hey, we should double check our actual win the game objectives, like near the beginning of the cycle of enemy turns, and then we have to sit here for another 90 seconds while all of the enemies slowly take their turns, and then by the time it's my turn again, I have forgotten the thing that I said we should do. Probably what I ought to do is have some post-it notes, or some, just some sticky notes around here, and when I have an idea like that, just immediately write it down. But in order to do that, I'd have to remember that I wanted to do that and remember to buy the sticky notes, and you know, if you remember while you're at home that you want to buy a thing, by the time you get to the store, how are you going to remember? Who could possibly solve this problem? I can't imagine there's anyone on Earth who doesn't suffer from this. This is why absolutely no one has their life together, and I'm just perfectly normal, not a total embarrassment of an adult human being. And I assume right now you're all agreeing with me and lamenting and saying, ah yes, it's terrible how forgetful and useless we all are. Ah well, what a world. I appreciate the commiseration. Okay, that guy we fired is ready to lead an army again, should we need him to do so. Campaign movement range up for everybody. It's true, we did not even attempt to kill Cassian Walden. And our Rite of Tsunki has, the cooldown has expired, so that's our double move, right? Also, there's Beastmen across the ocean. I don't care about that. So yeah, that is our double move. Okay, we have our double move available again, should we want it. Alright, let's put an end to this. Hopefully this will be the last time we have to fight this particular battle. Although, actually, almost certainly it isn't, because we're probably going to have to do this to the Knights of Arrigo Stronghold. Who wants 15% speed? There's some value in putting this on one of the Blessed Pterodons. They have so much ammunition. Them being able to get from place to place in the battle is probably pretty valuable. Although, you could say the same for the Skink Chief. Just making sure that he can chase lords on horseback and stuff. Let's do this for right now. And this gives a charge bonus. Well, I know who we usually have charging into battle here. Alright, let's do the thing. This will at least be the last time we have to do this to this particular force of Bretonnians. And then, we're definitely going to go down and grab the other settlement in this region before we head Tiktaq'to back up to assist against the Knights of Arrigo. Because I think probably our only plan for actually defeating the Knights of Arrigo involves both of our armies, because they really do just have a huge number of dudes on that island. Which is to say that it's gonna be a minute. And then after we deal with them, maybe that's when we get Thagan's Errantry. It turns out we still have probably quite a few turns of fighting Bretonnians in the desert ahead of us. But I think we've gotten into a position here where it's very unlikely that we are not going to be able to take over all of this desert territory. 5 starting winds of magic. Well, it's not great, but we're also probably not going to cast a lot of spells for quite a while. I think I'm okay going with this. We'll just fill out of the winds of power pool. It's fine. So there is a large dead zone that the towers can't fire into here. It's a couple of large dead zones. Is this... I'm assuming that this entrance is not actually here. That it's like entirely graphical, that we couldn't shoot through it or anything. I like this this settlement. Has a neat look to it. Alright, let's do the plan. You know that one plan that we do? I guess we can start these guys way off to the side and not spend very much time in tower shooting range at all. That'll be nice. It is a little strange that the flying units took damage from us sailing through the reef. Like, if us sailing through the reef was such a bad thing, why didn't they just take off and not be on the ship while it was happening? And, yeah, we'll just put all the people over here. Okay. Same plan as ever, because it's working really well. We really, really got lucky with this Carnosaur. It is just it is like the heart and soul of our entire strategy with this army now. You guys just get into places where you are not shootable by the towers. That's really all I care about. And in fact, we can get these guys out of tower range really quickly as well. Where is... Here he is. Okay, so let's do the thing that we usually do. We have a really, really well grouped up bunch of archers here. Okay, well, that's going to handle that pretty quickly. Make sure you guys are attacking archers. Yeah, the Fire Leech Bolas are just super good against things on walls, even without the rock throwing. I know exactly where we're dropping our next set of rocks. This looks very, very juicy. See, that's what I was talking about. Look at all the Bretonnian juice that came out. Somebody's going to have to actually get over on these archers real fast. Unfortunately, the way they're set up right now, they're likely to maintain control of the towers because they also have... Just gotta fly this way a little bit. Oh, hey, get over top of those archers. There we go. Yeah, they were able to put more ground units on the part of the wall that we actually care about because we weren't able to get them to spread out the way we have in the past by having some of our army on one side of the castle and the rest on the other. Have Tiktaq'to drop his big, ridiculous rocks. And that does so much damage. I guess we don't actually have our Skink Chief focusing on any of their characters. Shoot at Mogan the Devoted. It seemed like a lot of the Bretonnians are named Mogan to anybody else. It's just like, it's like John for them. One more guy with a... Ooh, that guy is actually really far away. Seems like they want to threaten our dinosaurs. Somebody's got to save the Carnosaur! Let's make sure that those guys don't get any ideas with those big pole arms. They actually probably afford to throw an Amber Spear down here. Got to get rid of some of these long arms. Yeah, I don't know. That spell's alright, I guess. Here's the last remaining healthy group of pole arms. It would be really cool if we could get rid of them. Carnosaur kind of went in, huh? Well, you know, he does that, I suppose. Let's get the red-crested skinks over here. Make sure that I told them to go to the right place. Yeah, see, it does suck that they're able to maintain control of the wall. Unfortunately, not very much that can be done about it. Definitely wild form the T-Rex as well. Use a little bit more armor. Oh, for some reason they ran over to this part of the wall, probably to get away from the explosions. And they've wandered into a whole different set of explosions. Now the Carnosaur is in full rampage mode, so I suppose we ought to get in here and help him. Mogan the Devoted decided he would rather fight the Carnosaur than get poison projectiles hurled at him forever. I guess I can understand where that comes from. Get all of the poison darts over here. A lot of these guys are not permanently broken, notice. Also, a lot of my flyers are really into killing these polearm dudes. Okay, I'm not going to worry about them too much until they actually turn around, but probably this is not a 3-unit job. Let's grab 2 of you, have you come back. There are other people that need to get blown up. But as ever, we're going to win this battle, and then we're going to get to spend a turn in the friendly settlement. So it's not like we're going to be in any real danger of losing these units. Carnosaur has unrampaged. Let's see if I can get him to withdraw a little bit. I mean, he does love fighting. It might not be possible. One of the benefits of being a huge, very massive unit like that is that he can just shove people out of his way in situations where smaller units might get stuck. Is Tiktaq'to actually fighting? He's trying. Buddy, get off the ground. This is not necessary. If you tell a flying unit to disengage for enough time, they will eventually take off again. But I want to get my good aerial charge going. There we go. The kind of thing I want him to get over here, right? We may need his assistance. I don't know where you guys are going. Okay, all the units outside the wall are pretty broken. I brought the salamanders over here to just fire blindly into the flank, but it looks like that will not be necessary. Let's shoot our Amber Spear at these horses. Is that maybe going to have an effect? Okay, I mean, they don't like being shot in the back by magic, I'll tell you that. A little worried about throwing in the Fire Leech bolas here because of Tiktaq'to. Let's let him disengage and take off first. I'll say this, these guys are fighting a little bit harder than the last group of Bretonnians that we fought in the castle did. Although, I suppose that makes a lot of sense when you consider that a loss here is extermination for this faction. That paladin is keeping people up. So characters, not just lords but heroes too, have that thing, that leadership aura. And I think probably the fact that there's a paladin here stuck in the middle is a big part of why it's taken so long for those guys at the gate to break. You're doing a fine, fine job. Now that it's just this paladin over here, though, we could probably throw the Carnosaur back in. You missed. You just ran right past him. He's the one that doesn't look like a skink. There you go. He figured it out eventually. Listen, my understanding is that giant dinosaurs are not known for their visual acuity. Although, I guess everything I know about giant dinosaurs and their visual acuity basically just comes from Jurassic Park, so maybe that's not real information. Also, it's been a long time since I read the book, but that whole thing about the T-Rex not being able to see movement wasn't T-Rex's. It was because it was like, its genome was patched with frog DNA, and the frogs they used couldn't see movement or something. I don't think they actually say that part in the movie. If I remember in the book correctly, though, it was the frog's fault. The T-Rex was a perfect killing machine until we spliced frog into it, and then it got all lazy and started eating flies. It's possible that my memory of the book is somewhat jumbled by the fact that it's been easily 20 years since I read it. We are starting to see some units cross up into the rank 7 threshold, so we do need to get on those redline skills. Tiktaq'to does love to get personally involved in combat, even though he kind of gets his ass kicked every time I have him fight. Even on even odds, he seems to do a pretty bad job. So we should probably grab the passive for our School of Magic that gives us more power and an increased rate of drawing power from the bar into the casting pool. But some of these other spells look pretty good. We're probably going to come back and get a lot of the spells. In particular, Flock of Doom seems like it might be interesting. I don't know how necessary it is, because we break down high population units pretty quickly with the Fire Leech Bolas and stuff. But it seems like a cool spell, at the very least. Alright, so we'll be just about back at full health at the beginning of next turn. And we're taking over more and more ports by the moment. Probably we just need to get defensive structures going. Like I said, a lot of this coastal stuff is going to be vulnerable to sudden attacks from the sea. All right, let's see if Kislev yet lives. They have control of Erengrad? They do. Why are we so negative with them? Oh, the Great Power modifier. He's yelling about bears or something. So the Great Power modifier is a negative diplomatic modifier that increases with the size of your empire, the number of provinces that you own. It might be the number of settlements, I don't know. But the important thing is, as we get bigger, people will be less and less inclined to trust us because of the fact that we, at least theoretically, have the economic and or military strength to just try to conquer them. A big exception to this is that Tomb King factions generally really appreciate a big, powerful nation, and so the Great Power modifier for them is positive. But we're going to have more and more trouble getting non-aggression pacts and stuff with people who are distant from us as we get more powerful. Nations that are close to you still take that negative Great Power modifier, but they also will sometimes be scared by your army and desperate for a promise that you will not attack them.
Deliver your message.
I will not obey.
Yeah, as we're taking more settlements, it's getting harder and harder to make deals here. What about all those high elves? That's right, we have trade agreements with all of the high elves who have the ability to trade with us already. So yeah, we're gonna see our relationships start to suffer a little bit here. Oh well. We did manage to get a number of trade agreements already. I'm not too worried about it. Out of curiosity, can we move over here enough to get Vision of Zandri? So he has built a new training field. No ability to get horses though, and men-at-arms and spear-men-at-arms are a complete non-issue for us. I do not care about these units at all. I actually wonder, given the size of these armies and what we know about the Bretonnian garrisons, I wonder if we could just run over there and kill these guys. Let's play it defensive for the moment. Just go over here and hang out in Alhaik. Then we have a new research available. Well, I guess there's only one thing we can research. So we're still short a Shrine of the Old Ones. And the only places where we could build that and like really get the benefit from it are Tlaq'to and the Black Tower right now, right? We could make a scrying pool somewhere. Maybe that's worth doing. Don't really have a lot of space for it. I guess let's just upgrade Tiktaq'to with this money. So now this, theoretically, this province only needs one more upgrade, and then we can stop worrying about population surplus. We'll see if anything terrible happens to it in the interim. Wow, this looks like it might be tricky to take. That's an awful lot of guys. Well, I mean, it's an awful lot of guys, but these are very bad units. The good news is Tiktaq'to's army has lightning strikes, so we can just roll over there and fight them one by one. We had to do pretty well in those combats, though. I forgot about this. If you have a unit with multiple turns worth of orders, it executes its orders automatically at the end of your turn, but it does so very, very slowly, and there's no way to speed that up. So it might be a good idea for us to just move him manually every turn. Speed things up a little bit that way. It might be the case that the smart thing to do here is to turn Tiktaq'to around and ignore Archon the Black. Never mind. No, now we definitely have to kill him. Because otherwise, he's going to do the same thing that the Knights of the Flame did, where they charged through the mountain pass and into our southern areas. Like, we're going to have to kill all those guys now. What I was going to say is, it might be a good idea to send Tiktaq'to back north just to get all this nonsense under control, but then also that it probably is not the thing we're actually going to do, because I don't want to have to walk all the way back down here later. But boy, he really made that decision for us, huh? This area is called the Land of Assassins, but the only thing we've seen anybody do here is get themselves killed through foolishness. I guess that's a sort of assassination. Oh, the Khemri were destroyed. Who is in control of... Owner Numos? The hell is Numos? Is that a High Elf faction? I think the shape of their banner indicates that they are High Elves. Is there a... Where the hell would a faction of High Elves even come from? They live on that big island in the middle of the sea. Hold on, let's see if we can spot Numos going past here. It's like red and white. It is kind of neat to see a bunch of the major factions get completely dumpstered, though. Seems like the map is going to turn out quite differently here than it has in my past games. The Vanaheimlings. What could you possibly have to say to me? Okay, fine. Boy, I don't know that I've ever heard a less meaningful declaration of war. Why? They're up here. It's going to take them 100 turns just to sail down to our desert. I think those two armies just swapped which one of them was inside the city. Doesn't seem super meaningful. Alright, let's go have a look at... Oh, hey. We leveled up enough to get a cool salamander hunting pack. You are getting moved manually. Yeah, that's... Numos. No, that's another Tomb King faction. Do we know any... What do we know about those guys? Numos. No, it is not a Tomb King faction. Was I right? Is it High Elves? The names are... No, they're definitely not High Elves. Who the hell is Numos? Oh, you know what? They might be a Tomb King faction that we just haven't met, so they're not on the list. Yeah, I think that shape is definitely Tomb Kings. Well, okay, whatever. We'll deal with them later, I guess. We're very busy right now. Alright, so we've hit level 20, and we are for sure, getting the buffs. Man, I kind of want to buff the Carnosaur because it's so good. Maybe we ought to focus on Pterodon Riders. Yeah. The first point is just speed, but then it becomes speed and missile damage and melee strength for our Ripperdactyls, which I swear to you we will hire at some point. We've had a lot of running around to do. It actually was probably the case that we could have stopped with Yarrick and gotten some before leaving the home territory. I was just a little worried that these guys were actually going to do something. Little did I know, they had no plan of attacking us at all. So we probably want to continue to employ ambush shenanigans. Basically, I just want them to make their moves as though I wasn't here. We certainly don't really want to get attacked by them on their turn. We want to initiate so that we can get the benefit of Lightning Strike. Okay, what else of value is there for Uldomorin to do? I guess at this point, he's met all of the coastal powers of men. At this point, he can sail west and meet everybody over on the other continent. I think that's really the only value he has left. We're going to have a new building slot here in 3 turns. We could just upgrade our money buildings. It's going to be a little while before we have the population to upgrade either of these things. Oh, Kofar needs its proper walls. Okay, it has spices. This takes precedent. Once we have a little bit better control of the Coast of Araby region, we can tear down this public order building and replace it with something else. You know what, maybe that's actually a thing we could do right now. Like, we're going to have these guys just sitting here. Let's tear this down and replace it with a recruitment structure, because I think we want this to be a recruitment area. Maybe Sauruses, finally. Or maybe a flyer building. Honestly, we'll just get Ripperdactyls up here. Alright, well, I think that's all we want to do then. Is there any chance that we could talk our good friends into a... Oh, sorry. They're already at war with the followers of Nagash. Never mind. Well, I suppose that would complicate Archon the Black using Vulture Mountain as a pass. Maybe that was never a real possibility. The dwarves have 3 armies. Unfortunately, we cannot ask them to come over here and help us unless we can convince them into a defensive alliance with us, which we probably will not be able to do. After we've defeated Archon the Black, we'll have a bunch of positive diplomatic modifiers with them for having killed their enemy. At that point, we might be able to secure an alliance, but right now I don't think they like us enough. And the followers of Nagash have chosen to do absolutely nothing this turn. That's actually really annoying, that they're just going to sit there with 3 full stacks of troops waiting for an opportunity. If we can get close enough to pull off some lightning strikes, we can probably kill the 2 individual armies outside of the Wizard's Palace pretty easily. Honestly, even if we ended up fighting the whole lot of them together, we might be able to take them. So the reason that they're able to run 3 full stacks is that Tomb King troops do not have an upkeep cost. You know, they're undead that are completely enthralled to their masters. So instead, they have buildings that like give them a certain number of units of each type that they can recruit. But if I remember correctly, they can recruit as many basic skeleton guys as they want. There's no limit on those. So they're able to build these really huge, extremely terrible forces. But we need to look at those armies and figure out where the couple of good units that they have access to from their tech buildings are. Like, there'll probably be some Ushabti, there'll probably be some... At this point, they could have, like, catapults, or... We're late enough in the game, they might have access to almost anything. Probably not their, like, super high-tier stuff, especially since it looks like they've only had 1 settlement for the entire game. War being declared between various high elf nations, orcs deciding that all dwarves must die. Seems like outside of our borders, things are pretty much business as usual. Oh, are they finally going to do something? Nope, they just swapped which one of them was inside the settlement and which one of them was waiting outside. I wonder what is going on in the AI's mind that makes it do that over and over again. That's such a weird thing to see. Alright, are we anywhere near him? We do have the money to go for the double move.
This is forbidden.
So if we get any closer, I'm going to be in their normal movement range. Which means that if we move up, go into ambush mode, and then we get spotted, they'll get to charge us with all of their armies at once. These guys have a couple of crypt ghouls and a necrotect, which is kind of a weird support hero. The army that's actually in the city has an Ushabti and a Hexwraith. This is an ethereal cavalry unit, not terribly vulnerable to physical damage. Who has the weapon that makes them do magic? Somebody in this army... Sorry, that's not what I want. Somebody in this army has a weapon that gives them magical attacks. Okay. So, Roxburgh, the Skink Chief, who's actually kind of good at melee combat, has... he has this sword, making his attacks magical, which means they do normally affect ethereal units. So he could get down there and just fight those guys. My experience of using Hexwraiths myself is that they're not actually very good units, and they're very reliant on their gimmick of not taking damage from most physical stuff. Like, their physical resistance is 75%. Also, actually, some of our rocks do non-physical damage, don't they? Because the fire rock ability does fire. Oh, it doesn't actually say. Oh yeah, and the salamander attack is fire damage. It's not physical, so the salamanders will actually absolutely shred them, because also they're large units. Yeah, okay. So basically what I was saying there is, here's all the reasons that we're definitely going to use the double move this turn. I'm not sure if this just adds another move worth of distance to us, or if it refreshes our movement. So let's do our normal move first. And we're just going to lightning strike our way through some terrible Khemri armies over here. Who else wants to do stuff? We have other characters. Make sure we move everybody. We can experiment with that and figure out how it actually works some other time when it's less crucial. I kind of want to... I'm going to have him veer off a little bit. I would like to meet this faction. So it is definitely Tomb Kings. They are strength rank 9. This is the 9th most powerful nation in the world. We're 4th. So, apparently, nobody's very strong yet. These guys have 3 settlements. Yeah, I guess they're the king of the Great Bony Pile. Weird. Alright, let's hit the thing. We are not moving the Slan army just yet. Actually, now that we've done that, we can look at the Slan army. Yeah, see, the Slan army looks like it only has its normal amount of movement. I think we do have to expend our movement before hitting that on armies that we want to actually get full use out of it on. And then, does it matter which one we attack first? I guess this army is slightly more powerful, so we want to attack them while we're fresher. Lightning strike. Yeah, this should be pretty straightforward. We are unfortunately going to have to fight these manually, even though they're going to be very easy battles, because the auto-resolver is unlikely to allow us to escape unscathed. But because we're going to have to do 3 battles in quick succession here, we really do need to minimize injury. If we were to auto-resolve a battle like this, it would be like, well, your melee troops are going to get hit by their melee troops this many times. But my hope here, my sincere hope, is that we get almost no actual melee engagement. I don't think that that's an unreasonable thing to look for. So... we probably are... Let's go ahead and gamble. We might want to use our spells pretty aggressively here. Again, I'm all about trying to avoid... That wasn't too bad. And we have 40 power in the reserve. That's alright. Okay, I'm going to set up over here. I don't want this big hill to be in the middle of everything causing trouble. want to make sure we have relatively clear sight lines for the salamanders. This is going to be a very salamander-heavy engagement on the ground, with, of course, all of our ranged guys doing that thing that all of our ranged guys do up front. They have no ranged units at all. We just have you guys here fending off quick flanking attacks from the dogs. I don't even know what we're going to do with everybody. Probably let's move these guys out a little bit so that we can tuck the blow darts behind them. Okay. Let's issue some initial attack orders. As always, we care slightly more about the spears than we do about the other guys. Crypt ghouls actually do have to die. So the crypt ghouls have poison attacks. These are like the only thing in this army that's even kind of dangerous, but they're very soft targets. Missile specialists try to kill their lord. Okay. And I guess we can run up and like hurl an amber spear at someone. So good against armor, good penetration. I'm gonna shoot it at their lord. Let's see how much damage a non-overcast amber spear does to a lord if we actually hit him with it. Is it not gonna happen? Are we not doing this? Shoot that guy with your thing. Oh, right, the wizard doesn't have vanguard deployment. It's just gonna take him a while to get over there. Okay, that's interesting. If fired from a lower angle, that could be really powerful. The fact that he's flying actually kind of makes that less effective, doesn't it? All right, let's do some rock dropping. You can see we are already doing a pretty serious number on the morale of these units that are being shot at from the sky. The dire wolves are not actually very dangerous. They definitely have better damage potential than most of the other units in this army. Ah, we're not going to be able to catch those guys. They're too fast. Okay, we'll just get you. Have to lead with the rock a little bit, it seems like. Yeah, there is some momentum. Okay, so those dogs are not a problem. A little bit of damage from, I'm assuming, a spell that I wasn't paying a lot of attention to. It's not great. Let's try overcasting it. Increased armor piercing damage, greater explosion damage. Just kind of curious. And we're going to cast it at Archon the Black again. He's like right in the middle of these dudes, so we should get some good AoE there. And let's start dropping the big rocks. Let's keep an eye on him, see if this spell... Oh, wow! Okay, when overcast, that really does do a lot of damage. So remember, we are seeing here this Realm of Souls effect. They are going to get a lot of free healing over the course of the battle. I'm not terribly concerned about it. I think we're probably going to be okay. So you guys fight them, you guys fight them. We already have the poison being applied. I'm debating whether I want to send units of red-crested skinks over to fight there. You know what? The dinosaur can go fight there. If they're going to commit both of their fast units on the same side, we can send the carnosaur over to flatten them. And, in fact, Tiktaq'to could help. No reason for him not to commit. And then let's get back to throwing rocks at people. I don't necessarily want to drop on top. I guess this is where they're densest. I was going to say I don't necessarily want to spend rocks on units that are this weak, but all of their units are this weak, so... Don't let them turn away from you. There's that second Realm of Souls cast. Wait, what did I have you doing? Okay, you are supposed to be shooting this guy, but you've decided to reposition while doing it for some reason. I'm sure it's perfectly sensible. Oh, was that the third charge already? The Ushabti are immediately like, did you know there are dinosaurs over here? What are you guys thinking? Alright, I think what we should probably try to do here is disengage the skinks from the Ushabti. Disengage the melee skinks from the Ushabti. Have one guy shoot at them for the purpose of slowing them, and then have like one of the units of salamanders turn around and fire on them. The other, probably this one actually, and these salamanders can maybe even move up away from them a little bit. So we might want to leave... No, I'm not going to leave any red-crested skinks in on them. It's too dangerous. Okay, completely killed that unit. So you guys should turn back around. And we should probably get some rocks on these dudes over here, right? Let me drop these, and then that'll be our next order of business. Right, finish those guys off. Let's grab somebody who's on this side. We're going to thin out the ranks over here just a tiny bit. They really do group up nicely, don't they? You gotta wonder about the strategic wisdom of grouping that tightly after you've already seen the first couple of waves of rock drop. Gotta get you guys disengaged. Tiktaq'to should back up. The Carnosaur could just run in, but I think we want to keep the Carnosaur pretty healthy here. Looks like those Ushabti are almost dead. Have these guys move up. Try to provide a little bit of poison slowdown. And do I want to... I think I'm just going to leave them as they are. They can see all this stuff. They'll be able to fire in. Alright, let's get that rock throw. Also, while you're flying, throw an overcasted spear at Archon, because... Yeah, wow, that's actually really effective. Overcasting spells rules. Speaking of overcasting spells, let's get some buffs out here for our army. I haven't really been doing a lot of overcasting because I was trying to take advantage of the fact that our spells were cheap to cast them a lot. But our army is kind of too high micro for me to be doing that. You have those guys. This is definitely the kind of moment where we want Tiktaq'to to get involved. Do we want him to fall in on the back flank over here, or should he fight the Necrotect, maybe? We don't need him to, like, stay in for a long time. We just need him to help a little bit. You guys should back up. Turn here. We can have these red-crested skinks move in now that the Ushabti are gone. I'm trying to keep them... if this was not clear, I guess I didn't actually say it. I'm trying to keep the red-crested skinks healthy. Trying to keep them out of very direct melee combat here. We probably... Do we have a unit of non-Fire Leech guys over here? Okay. Let's have you show up to this battle and have the Fire Leech Bolas pull off. They don't want to blow up all of our skinks on this side. And the Carnosaur is just going to tear random dudes apart. That's pretty okay. Have you do this while we have the blowgun units try to spread out, just make things difficult for the enemy. Tiktaq'to, get over here and commit on this dude. So this Archon the Black, this is the legendary lord that controls this faction. So we haven't had an opportunity to do so yet, but when you defeat a legendary lord, you get a trait for doing so. So I'm hopeful that the trait that we get for defeating him is cool. I actually don't know. You guys get in there. Sorry, unit of skinks. A little overexcited. Oh, yeah, we killed Archon. Did you see that immediately all of their units just shattered? You guys should disengage. Killing the enemy leader is a very valuable thing. I'm glad that we've accidentally made some decisions with our wizard that make him pretty good at sniping lords. Between the Amber Spear and the very high missile damage from Roxburgh, I bet we'll be able to crush the enemy lords of the other Tomb King armies down here really quickly. Archon the Black, I assume, due to him being a legendary lord, is probably tougher than the rest of them. He's probably unusually tough. So we took some damage on our ground units. Remember, no matter what, all of our ranged units will completely refill their ammo between fights. there is no modeling of like the supply train necessary to keep bringing forward ammunition. I guess in our case, we're mostly just like throwing sharpened sticks. It wouldn't be that hard to get some sticks and sharpen them. But we'll have to be a little careful with our melee guys, and especially the chameleon skinks in these future battles, but the units doing most of the damage have persevered. We'll just eat whatever we can eat, and then continue onward. Defeated Archon the Black, plus 20 diplomatic relations with Tomb Kings, plus 25% weapon strength for Tiktaq'to when fighting vampires. Archon the Black is like he's a legendary necromancer, which is why that's like that, I guess. Okay, let's get... Do we need more ammunition? Oh, we don't have access to any more missile damage increases. I guess let's get more ammunition. Even when he's on the back of the Stegodon, if we do indeed decide to do that with him, he will still be using his ranged weapons. Once again, Lightning Strike. This time, it doesn't even think we'll win. Look at how damaged all your units are. It is a little bit of a shame that we have to fight an extra unit of Ushabti in each of these battles. I think this time we'll focus a little bit more on dropping the rocks fast, see if we can get all of the Realm of Souls triggered, and then kill the Ushabti really early in the battle. They don't have to summon them right when they get that third Realm of Souls charge. They could wait, but they won't. Okay, our actual, our pool didn't change, but our power reserve went up. That's fine. Alright, this is going to look very similar. You have to be as far forward as possible. So the terrain's a little flatter this time. In fact, we could even take up a bit of a hill. Have all these skinks over here, have all these skinks over here. I'm not going to stress too much about the actual arrangement of things. Okay. Start battle. Now that we know what we know about the Amber Spear, I'm going to start the battle with a command to overcast an Amber Spear on their lord. Yeah, maybe we can just kill this dude really fast. Okay, so who do we care about? We care about you a little bit. Let's have you guys harass those, and we'll micro this unit immediately. And then Tiktaq'to just needs to get over here in a place where he could drop the rock eventually. Interesting. I'm not sure what they're doing with their formation here. Okay, that's a pretty good start. Actually, can we catch the dogs and these swordsmen in the same rocks? Okay. There's that first charge. Who has rocks? You have rocks. We're doing some fine work over here on their morale, apparently. Do I even want to drop rocks on this side? I think these guys are probably pretty screwed, especially since they're gonna move into salamander range before we even have to think about the rest of this army. So they're just gonna get shredded when that happens. Have you throw your rock out on these guys, probably? Maybe not. They're a little fast. Well, they'll be less fast when the Carnosaur catches them. Or maybe they will run away even faster. I wasn't really expecting them to completely surrender there. So yeah, we don't need to do rocks on these guys. Let's turn around and throw rocks. Not too worried about the units that are really distant. Let's try to soften up the forces that are near us. Unfortunately, the Realm of Souls effect is going to undo some of the rock drop damage. They're getting close to salamander range. You know what? I am going to hit these guys, because they're far enough out to the side that the salamanders might not focus on them. Yep. That's, as we thought, the moment they get near the salamanders, things go horribly awry for them. We can send these dudes over here. So I think that's the second Realm of Souls charge already that we're seeing there. Where is my wizard? Okay, Amber Spear is available again. Roxburgh is working on this dude. We've got him to like 2/3 already. It's not a bad start. Who still has rocks over here? Hero has rocks, or Tiktaq'to has rocks. Let's go and drop some rocks on these dudes. They did manage to charge into the... Okay, there's that third charge. Let's try to get him disengaged. Okay. They summoned the Ushabti in the middle of the salamanders. That's probably the right spot for them. We get a unit of chameleon skinks in on this. Try to split the salamanders up a little bit. I can't... Oh, there we go. Order them to move back for some reason. We'll just try to burn them down really quickly. And I'm going to reposition red-crested skinks a little bit in an attempt to make them not a super easy target. You guys work there. I want to make sure these dudes are dead. That is the last big healing burst that they're going to get. So are we out of rocks now? No, the Skink Chief still has his rock because he's been very busy. And we can have him just drop it here, that's fine. Come on, quickly now. They sort of juked. They got out of it a little bit. The Carnosaur needs to keep disengaging. I don't want all of the spears grouped up around him, you know? I think we could probably jump their lord now. He's far enough back that, like, these guys are slow enough that if we were to knock him down, he's not on horseback or anything. Yeah, we just fly in and knock his ass down. If they wanted to turn around and fight, I think Tiktaq'to would have time to get out of there. And yeah, you guys fight there, that's fine. You guys should probably attack over here. Dinosaur's got orders. We're going to use some of these red-crested skinks to stop up their line a little bit. And the salamanders are not having a good time disengaging from... Okay, well, we got the poison on them. We're doing the salamander thing. That's the best we can do. Run! Don't go back in! Run away! Ugh. Salamanders are... They're powerful, but they're not very smart. Okay, so they haven't turned anything around. Where is our caster? He does have Amber Spear available again. But I'm worried that shooting it at their lord while my lord's right here might be a bad idea, so we're gonna have Tiktaq'to kind of turn around and fight these guys for a moment, or maybe even have them try to move away entirely, because there is an explosion effect, right? Alright, now try to get back in there. We might have to have somebody drop down to the ground to help him, or I could have Carnosaur do it. Like, we charge through these guys and have the Carnosaur show up behind those guys. Fight the spears. Okay, I think we got this under control. The Ushabti are somehow still alive, despite the fact that summoned Ushabti usually just, like, die automatically very, very quickly. This is what we need. We need some Fire Leech Bolas over here. Tiktaq'to's tough. He can take it, and we'll use the non-explosive units to try to thin out the rest of these dudes. And now that the battle lines are pretty much joined, I want to have a lot of these units run around and throw projectiles from behind him. Do not engage directly with the Ushabti. The Ushabti are definitely one of the better Tomb King units. It is helping them a lot that they're getting a free Ushabti in each of these battles. Force your way out, because I really want him to be on the enemy lord. We're pretty close to killing that guy. What does it cost to overcast Wiston's wild form? More than 4. This is one of my major complaints with the UI, is that if you can't afford overcasting, it just says you can't afford it, but it doesn't give you any indication of what it costs, because the cost listed in the upper right is always for the version of the spell that you currently have selected. You can see our spellcaster has taken some damage here. We've gotten a lot of miscasts on all of those overcasted Amber Spears, which is crappy. Ushabti have finally fallen apart. Alright. After this, the next battle is... Ooh, you guys are getting crypt swarmed pretty bad. Get over here and fire poison projectiles into the backside of the enemy formation. Kind of remarkable how much better these guys are doing at surviving, despite having what I would describe as an objectively worse unit lineup. Okay, the Lord is down. Here we go. Their Lord is down and the army just completely crumbles immediately. And the Salamanders fire a celebratory volley of shots into my own units. Good work, guys. Yeah, I was not expecting this army to hold up at all, but I guess it took us a little bit longer to kill the Lord here. Alright, well, we're in much worse shape now, but we still have all of the flyers, and if anything, I think the walls harm the AI's ability to fight, like them having walls, because they spend so much effort playing on the wall and defending the wall. We're not going to see any of our melee units actually get attacked while fighting the settlement, probably. I'm confident we could just go right through this, though. I think we're going to go ahead and attack right now. No sense in doing anything other than pushing forward. So, once again, feast on whatever bits of flesh you can find. I don't know, bone marrow is supposed to be tasty, right? Is that a thing? I don't know. Alright, let's get them. Lightning strikes. So what do they actually have here? They have a normal unit of Ushabti, they have a couple units of archers, a couple more units of Ushabti, but these units will be inside the wall. We might not bother to destroy the gate this time. Like, maybe let's not worry about the gate until after we've done all the rock stuff, because opening the gate might help them more than it hurts them. I guess if we set our, if we're able to set our salamanders up in front of the gate that we attack, and then just not necessarily run through it, we can maybe bait them into coming out and getting totally wrecked. But like, I want to try to set off all of their Realm of Souls stuff while we are still pretty safe. Ah, this map doesn't really have a dead zone, unfortunately. The towers go all the way up to the wall. Alright, we are definitely going to be very focused on killing the Lord of the Garrison here. So I guess we'll do this the way we've done these in the past. Start the flying units on one side and the ground units on the other in the hopes of spreading their stuff along the garrison. The safe zone is right there. We'll have the Carnosaur be right here. We'll run him over into the gatewell, but I may not have him actually attack the gate. And remember, we are definitely going to get the Realm of Souls Ushabti on top of the Salamanders, which is crappy, but like I don't think there's any way we could bait them into setting them anywhere else. That is definitely the right place to put them. Interesting. They left very few defenses on this side. Really went in hard on defense from the flyers. Okay, very first thing is everybody get inside the walls. Actually, I guess we can issue these orders in a way that doesn't require me to have to micro quite as much. Make sure that we're getting good attacks in on their few units of archers. They're pretty bad archers. And then spears? And then the crypt ghouls. Get rid of those crypt ghouls. These guys, do their projectiles do any like bonus damage versus large or anything? No, they're not very armor piercing. I think I'm going to have the normal Pterodon riders each just pick a unit of Ushabti and keep on them, because those Ushabti have to go. And then you definitely need to just get in here and have that guy. Okay, everybody get inside the walls. We'll figure it all out afterward, once we are no longer in danger of getting towered. Actually, I guess let's have the caster drop his rock as quickly as possible so that I don't have to worry about maneuvering him into position to do that. They really are grouping up nicely for us, aren't they? Oh my god, you fly slowly. Maybe we should have given him the speed boost banner. Okay, so this seems like a good time to drop a lot of rocks on people. Just get that out of the way, because we don't want to have to move that guy around very much. These blessed Pterodon riders need to move across this formation. Okay, there's that first charge. Alright, there's a tiny little zone where the towers... Oof. Hold on. You guys need to stay tightly packed. There's a tiny little zone where the towers can't shoot at everybody, so I guess let's try to get as many people as possible into that tiny little zone. We gotta clear the walls, right? That's the way we actually solve this problem. So let's get on it. Is that the second Realm of Souls charge that we're seeing already? I think it might be. Make sure that we're getting as many of these archers as we can possibly get. Yep, that was number 3. Wow. Well, we did an alright job on that one. Let's have the units of salamanders. Listen, somebody's going to have to stay back here and hold these guys in place. And I have nominated you. Go forth and fight these Ushabti with your tiny javelin while everybody else does important stuff. Everyone will always remember their sacrifice. All right, who still has rocks left? Don't we have... We have 1 unit of Pterodon riders, yeah. Okay, notice they have opened the gate. Their plan is changing. They are now thinking maybe it's not safe to be inside of this settlement. Okay. We've done some alright work here. Looks like we have the Winds of Magic for another spear. Make sure we stay on this dude. Yeah, man. Overcast Amber Spear. That is the real thing. Okay, they've lost control of the towers. There are no units on this wall, so they should not have control of this tower anymore. So now we can change some things up. You guys need to run... Everybody who is not... This unit of javelins... or the units of salamanders needs to come around, and I guess I've changed my mind. I guess we're going for this gate instead now, because this is where all the dudes are all screwed up. I'm gonna manually tell him to go, like, around, because I'm not confident that he won't interpret a direct move order to here as break down this door and then run over here from the inside. I think there's a real chance he might do that. Okay. So now that we've got a lot of this stuff under control, I'm going to send a couple units of Fire Leash Bolas over here to make sure that these Hex Wraiths don't exist anymore by the time we get inside. Let's keep you guys firing at the Ushabti. Okay, Carnosaur is doing what he's supposed to do. And my, he is fast. And you know what? These brave skinks, they're getting done exactly what they were told to do, even though it was definitely going to kill them. You gotta admire that commitment to the great plan. That's probably good. You guys can disengage. I think the salamanders have it from here. And I feel like that was their big trump card. There was being able to summon Ushabti into us. Now that that's gone, I think they're in very bad position. Do we want to actually crack the gatehouse yet, or do we want to just sort of let this get finished? I think we might hold off a moment. Cast our Amber Spear again. And I'm not going to have Tiktaq'to go down there just yet. This is going just fine. Wow. Holy crap, that's a very effective spell. Change my mind. Tiktaq'to, get him. I think you can take him now. I think we're going to see a pretty dramatic effect on their overall morale when their lord actually falls. They have some units here that are slightly better than their normal skeletons. But unfortunately, not a lot of recourse against flying enemies. Okay, that did some decent leadership damage. And these Necropolis Knights are also a danger. Alright, now I think it's time to knock. Let's see, what does this Skink Chief do now? He does enough damage when he hits it. Probably it's a good idea to have him like go after the Ushabti. He might be able to actually kill individual figures out of that Ushabti unit. And once we get the gate open, we are going in. Oh, that's right, I have a rock left. Let's go drop a rock on somebody. Probably not the Necropolis Knights, even though they're dangerous. There's few enough of them, and they're spread out enough that it probably won't do that much damage. But if I could catch, like, some of the Hex Wraiths intermingled with some melee, like over here, that would probably be pretty good. Yeah, that wasn't bad. The salamanders are arcing their breath over the wall. I did not realize they could do that. Apparently only a couple of them have figured out the math. Alright, gate's coming down. We are starting to run a little bit low on ammunition. We're gonna have to actually, like, fight now. Where's my wizard? Is there anything that I want to shoot any more overcharged spears at? Or do we want to maybe save for constantly overcasting Wissen's wild form? I think we're going to do that. We're going to do a lot of wild form. Alright, as soon as this gate breaks, all the red crested skinks through, the Carnosaur through. Go get a buddy. They don't even have the extra mass of their flesh to protect them from the force of the charge. Man, our units are cool as hell. Alright, Tiktaq'to's coming. He'll save you. Oh, salamanders, stop shooting. Turn off fire at will. I understand your eagerness, but this is maybe not the moment. All of my flyers out of ammo? Nope, the blessed bolas are still working. Let's have them fire at other units that are a little bit healthier now. I'm just trying to maximize casualties at this point. They do have a Tomb Prince left. Let's have the Skink Chief focus on him. I didn't see this guy. Let's have our pair of assassins get in there. Tiktaq'to is shredding dudes with his sweet dinosaurs. Right, my plan is to get people in here, get the salamanders set up along this way, with the skinks right behind them, and just shoot fire at anybody we can see, and if anybody runs forward, the skinks run through and absorb the charge. which I know is not, like, not exactly what they would like to be doing. It doesn't even really have that long of a cooldown. Amber Spear is very good. A very good anti-character move. Alright, so we need the salamanders through... Man, why do they always want to stack up like... Alright, that's fine. Do it like that. The red-crested skinks have to get in here. All of the dart dudes have to get in here. And the Carnosaur waits. If those Necropolis Knights charge in while we're still setting up, the Carnosaur is going to have to do something. Doesn't really look like they intend to. Oh no, my hidden units! They've been revealed! Who's feeling relatively healthy? We need to have one unit of red-crested skinks to deal with this. We'll have Tiktaq'to fly over and then hit him from the back once battle is joined. Good luck, tiny spears. Something tells me this is not going to go that great. Boy, he landed right in the middle of them, huh? That's not ideal. Well, they don't have any... They're crumbling rapidly. I think we'll be okay. Alright, the enemy has backed off a little bit. Might be wise for us to move up. It's really hard to get the salamanders to move in like a formation that makes any kind of sense if you group them together for some reason. Don't think the Carnosaur should be necessary over here. They're starting to be kind of a lot of enemies. We want a wild form? There's some amount of actual melee fighting that still has to occur here. I'm wondering if maybe we should turn some of the salamanders around. I mean, I guess the spears are already weak. Let's have the Carnosaur deal with it. Tiktaq'to and his buddy, the giant Carnosaur, should be able to handle this, I think. And the instant I was distracted, all of a sudden, there's dudes. Well, alright. Carnosaur, hold that front by yourself. Tiktaq'to's busy. So what else do we want to do? Who is out of ammo? Okay, all of the flyers are out of ammo. We are so close to being done with this. Yeah, even the Skink Chief is out of ammo. Alright, let's have him come over here. We're going to have to start using some of these flying units as melee units. Alright, so have the Carnosaur focus on the Crypt Ghouls, have the flying units hit everybody else in the back. He is needed to fight Necropolis Knights. These Necropolis Knights are really cool. They're on, like, big obsidian snake statues. They're pretty powerful. I think maybe we want to direct a little bit of fire this way. I know the Carnosaur is going to get hit by a bunch of this. He'll be alright. Okay, overcasting wild form costs exactly this much. Let's go stats up on the dudes on this side. This is where the most dangerous enemies are. We brought in some Shabti. I believe that I believe the Carnosaur and the swarm of flyers can handle this one. We have poison projectiles going out as much as we can. And then the wizard's just kind of out of stuff to do, and his combat stats are so bad that he definitely should not engage directly. Alright. Let's have the salamanders fall back. We've almost got this side handled, and once we have this side handled, the Carnosaur comes over here and starts playing cleanup. We are rampaging like crazy, though. Yeah, they did their rampage spell. That's very inconvenient. Alright, we can still get the salamanders back to firing range. We're just going to have to accept some serious casualties here. But, like, those Shabti have to die, right? So open fire, dudes. That other unit of Ushabti is still back there, still basically at full health. The Pterodon Riders shooting at them didn't accomplish anything. I'm gonna have Tiktaq'to and the Chief both go after their remaining hero. This guy is projecting a leadership aura that I would rather he not be projecting. We're going to see a lot of our melee troops suffer horribly here. Alright guys, try to fall back. While we shoot fire at those dudes. Oh, they broke. They like properly broke. Look at how quickly they're crumbling now. Alright, that was an awful lot of Tomb Kings that we just killed there. That was like maybe 10,000 soldiers between the 3 battles. And I think we didn't actually even lose a single unit. Oh no, we lost a single unit. Not a bad outcome overall. 360 kills for this unit of Fire Leech Bolas during that battle. Jesus. Well, I'll tell you, those Pterodons have they have more than earned their pay. Yeah, I think losses were close to 3,000 in the other 2 battles, and then over 3,000 in this one. So more like only 9,000 enemy troops killed in this one particular turn. But we've now secured the western coast, which means Tiktaq'to is free to head north, which means that we will soon, I swear to you, sometime in the near future, be done with all these damned Bretonnians. Okay, we've secured the land of assassins. Yep, and it was just the one lost unit. So we could grab the Umbral Tide. I was thinking we would put these guys in the other army. What do we have for recruitment structures here? Do we take... Oh! We took over a region that has some stuff already. Well, I'm not sure what I want to do with this place in terms of whether it should be a recruitment area or not, but I do think in the short term we're going to have to get a public order building up. Okay, even more strength for the Pterodon Riders. We need plus ammunition on our normal Pterodon Rider, like our Pterodon Riders and our Fire Leech Bolas. Is that an option? The Skirmisher... No, Skirmisher does not add any ammunition to them. Does the higher box? Where's the one that affects the flyers? Skinks and Croxagores. Okay, this does not... Interestingly, this just boosts melee attack, melee defense, and missile resistance for the Pterodon Riders. Not really stats that they're super reliant on. Okay, I think we have the one thing that gives plus ammo. And it's plus 25% ammo. It's a lot. It's just not enough. It will never be enough. Oh, right. I was supposed to actually be spending a skill point. Well, let's finish getting Swift Rider at least. Plus missile damage is a little bit like plus ammo, in that it does extend the number of units you kill over the course of your spending your entire ammo bar at least. So now we're making some pretty okay money with all of these extra areas. And here in Kofur, we were going to put up a recruitment building. So we have, we're 54 turns into the game now, and we have never hired a Saurus unit. That's not true. We have one Regiment of Renown. It would probably be a good idea for us to have access to Saurus units. They're supposed to be the meat of our army. That said, flying units are actually the meat of our army, and maybe I'd be better off getting a Ripperdactyl hatchery going here, because I do want to see Ripperdactyls. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Alright, did all of our heroes move already this turn? We have some moves left, so we are headed for that area. We're going to discover the rest of this nation's land. They do have quite an army. Ooh, they have Great Bow Ushabti, which are pretty much exactly what they sound like. Ushabti with Ushabti-sized great bows, capable of knocking down gates, punching holes in walls. You can imagine what happens when they fire into an infantry unit. Did this guy use his extra movement? He did not. So when you use the movement granting rite, you have to go and manually check all your dudes to make sure that they've moved again, because it does let you just immediately end the turn. Something to watch for. Alright, I don't think we're going to recruit any more units into Yarick's army just yet. Let's do one more cycle of enemy turns here. I want to make sure that we are keeping our income as sharp as possible. But now that we are not being pulled in two different directions anymore for the first time in what feels like a really long time, we can bring our two armies together, crush the last of the Bretonnian settlements over here, and then turn our eyes eastward and maybe end up at war with this... I've already forgotten what their name is. With Numas? I was really hoping to take Khemri while it was controlled by the Khemri, but stuff came up, and I think what we did here had to be done. It was not going to be the case that we could just ignore the Bretonnians to our west anymore. So we're rated number 4 in military strength in the world, which means that most people are either running running fewer than 2 full-sized armies, or they just have low-tier units. But I'm noticing on the balance of power bar, a lot of people that are like really close to even with us, so we're probably pretty close to tied with like a whole lot of factions. Don't take that strength rank 4 to mean that we are way more powerful than everybody else. Our trade agreement with Safri was dissolved. Most probably what happened here is that Safri lost their port. All that high elf military squabbling. We should have a quick chat with Greybeard's prospectors now that we've defeated the followers of Archon the Black. They probably have some pretty strong positive feelings about us, and we got to capitalize on those now because they will fade. We want to get our defensive alliance so that we can maintain positive diplomatic pressure for the future. Also, the list of provinces that we have to control to win the game, it's just we have to control them, or they have to be under the control of someone that we have an alliance with. So if we ally with the dwarves, then this mountain will be considered ours for the purpose of our objectives, which we are totally going to look at. Now, I am remembering to look at the objectives. Also, we must be at war with Thagan's errantry in the next 6 turns to get 500 treasury, 500 gold, and a leadership buff against all the armies of men. This is probably going to happen. That seems very likely. Alright, we're going to stop here, but first, let us look at the objectives for our short campaign victory. We have to control the Land of Assassins, which we have, Land of the Dervishes, which we have, the Great Desert, the Land of the Dead, okay, which is where Khemri and Xandri are, the Great Mortis Delta, which is just this one settlement here, the Southlands Jungle, which is, all the way on the other side of the mountains, Kingdom of Beasts, Southern Badlands up here, so yeah, we're going to end up in direct conflict with a bunch of orcs. Then we got to take Sartosa and Skavenblight. It looks like Estalia and Tilia are both pretty established, although the Bretonnians are in control of Magritta. But basically, it looks to me like Sartosa and the guys in control of Skavenblight maybe only have those provinces, so when we take them, we'll immediately wipe out that force. It won't lead to a protracted war. We do have to build 3 star chambers. We had to wipe out the followers of Nagash, and the pirates of Sartosa, and the Bloody Hands, which is an orc tribe over here, and Clan Moors, which is Skaven, in that mountain pass that we're about to send a hero into. And we'll worry about all this stuff later. So we're doing alright here. We're making good progress. Let's take a quick look at the diplomacy menu and see if I'm right about the positions of some of our enemies here. So Clan Scryer, yep, they do have just their one settlement. The Pirates of Sartosa do have just their one settlement and also no army right now. And also, we are headed in that direction, right? Like all of our armies are going to just happen to be right here. I think probably Sartosa is on the menu in the very near future. But for now, we're going to have to say goodbye. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when we finally, for real, this time I mean it, stomp out the last of these Bretonnians, and then turn our eyes to the north. And we'll see you then.